Today we're diving into what I consider one of the most versatile and feature-packed digital music players on the market, the Matrix Audio MS-1. I've spent the last 6 months using this digital juggernaut in just about every way possible, and I'm excited to share my findings with you. If you're looking for a complete digital hub for your audio system, you're going to want to pay close attention. Hey everyone, Drew Baird here from Roon Audio. Look at this beautiful piece of equipment. The industrial design is absolutely gorgeous. Matrix Audio calls this their new Matrix design language, with hundreds of circular perforations arranged in an array on this simple hexahedron resembling rhythmic beats dancing on the surface. That's a mouthful. But this beauty isn't just skin deep. The engineering inside matches the exterior elegance. Now, before we dive into how this thing sounds, let's take a step back and look at what makes the MS-1 such a versatile piece of equipment. I've been in the industry for decades, and I can honestly say I've never seen a single component that packs in this many features. Please be patient as this list is long. With that being said, let me walk you through what this digital Swiss Army knife can do. First, let's talk about digital inputs. When using the MS-1 as a DAC, you've got 2 coax SPDIF inputs, 1 optical SPDIF input, 1 I2S output in case you want to use it with a different DAC, 1 USB audio input, 1 50 ohm clock connection for an external word clock. For analog inputs, which get converted to digital, cleaned up, and converted back to analog, you've got 1 pair of XLR inputs, 1 pair of RCA inputs, 1 pair of RCA inputs with ground posts for phono connection for both moving magnet and moving coil capable. For server and streaming connections, 2 USB ports for the external hard drive connections, 1 LAN port for a wired network connection, 1 SFP fiber optic network port, 1 storage slot under the unit for an M2 PCIe SSD drive. For outputs, there are 2 versions of the MS-1. The standard MS-1 with a fixed level outputs, which we have here, has 1 pair of XLRs and 1 pair of RCAs. The MS-1 Pre, with a built-in analog preamp stage, offers variable outputs, 1 pair of XLRs and 1 pair of RCAs, plus the additional fixed pair of XLRs. What all these connections and features really mean is that the MS-1 can be the heart of your entire audio system, possibly replacing 3 or 4 separate components. Whether you're streaming high-res audio, playing vinyl, connecting to a CD player, or even integrating with your home theater, this single box does it all. That means fewer components to buy, less rack space needed, fewer cables cluttering up your setup, and ultimately a more streamlined path to exceptional sound. All those physical connections are impressive enough, but where the MS-1 really shines is in its digital ecosystem. In today's world, streaming is king, and Matrix Audio clearly understands this. Let's look at how this device integrates with practically every streaming service and protocol you can think of. It's Roon Ready, supports UPnP and DNLA, controlled via Matrix Audio's own MA remote app. It's compatible with Apple AirPlay, internet radio via vTuner, Qobuz streaming, and purchases from highresaudio.com service. Tidal Connect, Spotify Connect, Sony Select High-Res Music, which is currently only available in mainland China. You can even connect an external USB CD drive to play CDs directly to the unit or rip them into the internal storage while retrieving metadata and cover art from the internet. This extensive streaming capability means you'll never hit the wall with the MS-1. You're not locked into any single ecosystem or service. If you decide to switch from Tidal to Qobuz next month, no problem. If you want to play files from your NAS one day and stream radio the next, it's all seamless. This future-proofs your investment and gives you the freedom to enjoy music however you prefer, without worrying about compatibility issues down the road. Now that we've covered what the MS-1 can connect to, let's peek under the hood. The real magic happens inside this beautifully designed chassis. Matrix Audio hasn't cut any corners with the internal architecture, and you can tell they've thought through every aspect of the signal path. The MS-1 is Matrix Audio's first product based on AKM DA solution, featuring the dual AKM 4191 and the AK 4499 flagship DA chipset. Each chipset works in parallel in mono mode, with left and right channel PCB assemblies mounted on the opposite sides of the device for a complete dual mono design. The H-shaped chassis structure is a unique Matrix Audio design. Developed over 2 years of optimization, the core is a 20mm CNC aluminum plate that serves as a structural foundation. Multiple isolated cavities are formed to house different circuit modules, effectively reducing interference. For power, the MS-1 uses custom square copper wire toroidal transformers for the digital analog sections. Compared to traditional round wire transformers, square wire has a larger conductor surface, higher current capacity, and lower resistance. This results in better transient response and richer low frequencies. Paired with Murndorf M-Lytic AG series filter capacitors, it adds a silky smoothness to the sound. All this technical engineering translates to one crucial outcome for the listener: musical truth. The dual mono design, isolated circuits, and noise-reducing architecture aren't just fancy bullet points. They create a generally silent background that allows you to hear deeper into the recordings. Those subtle room reverberations, a vocalist intake of breath, the natural decay of instruments, these delicate details emerge intact because the MS-1's design prioritizes signal purity at every stage. All this technology is impressive, on paper that is, but what matters is how it works in real life. Let me walk you through my experience setting up and living with the MS-1. I've spent months with this unit, so I've got some practical tips that might save you some headaches. The first thing I did before even listening was install an SSD drive. This is important because the unit doesn't come with a comprehensive manual, so consider this review part how-to guide as well. Make sure the unit is completely powered off, not just in standby. Even better, disconnect the power cable entirely before the installation. I used a 4TB Western Digital SSD, which I've linked in the description below. Once installed and powered back up, the MS-1 will ask if you want to format the drive. If you encounter any formatting issues like I did, try unplugging the power and reconnecting. This reset worked for me personally. One great feature is the ability to map the internal hard drive as a network drive, making it easy to copy files over your network. You can set download locations for services like HD tracks to save directly to the MS-1. The drive can also be set as a library in Roon, giving you multiple options for cataloging your music. I tested the one-step copy function with a USB thumb drive and it worked flawlessly. Through the MA Remote app, very simple and intuitive. The practical benefit of this thoughtful design is that you get a high-end comprehensive system that's surprisingly user-friendly. Despite its vast capabilities, you won't need an engineering degree to enjoy it. The internal storage means no extra NAS to configure. The intuitive app makes daily operations simple, and the seamless integration with your existing network means you'll spend more time enjoying music and less time troubleshooting technical issues. Features and specs are great, but at the end of the day, we're all here for one thing: the sound. After 6 months of listening, I've developed a pretty good feel for what the MS-1 brings to the table sonically. A few words that come to mind when characterizing the sound of the MS-1 are balanced, resolute, clean, and very natural. Some of this stems from the AKM chipsets. The MS-1 uses dual chipsets per channel, with left and right assemblies mounted separately on either side of the true dual mono design. The AKM 4191 is a 64-bit stereo digital delta sigma modulator capable of processing high-resolution audio up to 1536 kHz PCM and DSD 1024. It handles all the digital processing with 6 types of 64-bit digital filters for flexible sound reproduction. You can utilize the built-in asynchronous upsampling and DSD conversion engine to process all audio data. This engine performs resampling and interpolation operations, isolating jitter and enhanced details. The DSD converter can transform all of your playing audio into DSD for increased sound density. All these settings are adjustable, allowing you to experience different sound characteristics. Once digital processing is complete, the signal goes to the AK4499 flagship DA chipset. The AK4499 is a 32-bit, 4-channel switch resistor DAC with industry-leading low distortion and noise characteristics. It can receive up to 768 kHz PCM and DSD 512 inputs. The DPLL high-precision clock generates a signal with jitter as low as 45 femtoseconds in real time. If you have a higher precision, 10 MHz external clock, you can connect it to enhance performance further. I use the TAC CG10M clock, which allowed me to reclock both the MS-1 and the Matrix Audio SS1 Pro switch simultaneously. What all this digital processing technology means in real terms is flexibility to tailor the sound to your preference. If you value absolute precision and detail, the standard PCM mode delivers that. If you prefer a more organic, analog-like presentation, the DSD conversion adds that touch of warmth. Rather than being stuck with a single sonic signature, the MS-1 lets you adjust the sound to match your mood, your music, or your specific recording you're enjoying. It's like having multiple high-end DACs in one device. Digital excellence is expected in the streamer, But what really surprised me about the MS-1 was how well it handles analog sources. The built-in phono stage in particular deserves special attention because it's not just an afterthought, it's a genuine useful feature. There was no fatigue from the high resolution the DAC provided. While AKM chips generally offer a smoother and warmer experience compared to ESS chipsets, I believe much of the character comes from the analog output stage. I'm glad to see Matrix Audio using Murndorf capacitors in the power supply and the output stages. I connected a Technics SL1210 GR2 direct drive turntable with an Audiophile Concord Music Black cartridge to test the phono input. Setup was incredibly easy. While you might lose some of the bloom from the RAA equalization that a dedicated analog preamp provides, after listening to this combination and knowing I had one less device in my rack, I thought, who cares? The ability to add analog sources without needing another box is a fantastic perk. The real advantages of having these analog capabilities in your digital hub is simplicity without sacrifice. For vinyl lovers, it means you can enjoy your records through the same system as your digital music without a separate phono preamp taking up space and adding another link in the chain. For anyone with vintage components like tape decks or CD players, it means bringing those beloved sources into your modern system with minimal fuss. It's the best of both worlds, analog soul with digital convenience. Having all this capability is meaningless if you can't easily access it. The way you interact with the device day to day determines whether it's a pleasure or a pain to use. Let's talk about what it's actually like to live with the MS-1 as your heart of your system. The MS-1 comes with a basic remote for simple functions, but the real power comes from the MA Remote app or from library control you can use with Roon or UPnP programs like JRiver or Audiophile. With all these options, you can control everything from a phone, tablet, or computer. For streaming, I did most of my listening using Roon. I connected via the SFP port to the Matrix Audio SS1 Pro network switch. The fiber connection completely isolated the unit from any network contamination, which I'll discuss in detail in my SS1 Pro review. Let's take a quick look at the front panel touchscreen interface. Most of the day-to-day controls are built right in here, but there are a few additional settings only available in the MA Remote app. What this variety of control options means to you is that the MS-1 adapts to how you want to interact with your music, not the other way around. Whether you're a Roon power user who loves deep music exploration, someone who prefers the simplicity of a dedicated app, or a traditionalist who just sometimes wants to walk up and press the button, the MS-1 accommodates all these approaches. This flexibility ensures that finding and playing music remains a joy rather than a chore, which is ultimately what this hobby is all about. Now that you've heard me talk about all the incredible technology packed in the MS-1, there's another critical component in any high-end audio system that often gets overlooked: the cables that connect everything together. At Moon Audio, our Dragon audio cables have been our passion and specialty for years. When you've invested in a digital powerhouse like this MS-1, the last thing you want is to compromise its performance with stock cables that can't handle the precision and detail this unit is capable of delivering. Think of it as a way you wouldn't put regular gas in a Formula One car. So why connect your audiophile grade equipment with basic cables? So for your connection points on the MS-1, we've got you covered. Starting from the left, you'll see we've got the analog outputs. Here we would recommend the Silver Dragon, either RCA or XLR balanced outputs. Next, we've got the 10 megahertz clock connection. Here we would recommend our Black Dragon 50 ohm digital cable. We've also got two SPDIF RCA connections. Here you could go with Black Dragon or Silver Dragon, depending on the tonality you're interested in. We've got optical. Silver Dragon optical cable would be best here. We've got two I2S connections, one in, one out. Here we'd recommend Furatech HDMI cable actually. For the USB input, obvious choice is the Silver Dragon USB cable for the best in detail. We've got two hard drive connections. Here it's not as important to use a Dragon cable, but you can. Then we get to the LAN connection. We've got two options for you depending on the tonality you're going for with this unit. If you're using Bronze Dragon interconnects, I'd do a Bronze Dragon network cable here. If you're doing Silver Dragon interconnects, I would do a Silver Dragon LAN network connector. Then we've got SFP connections here. We're not in the business of making fiber optic cables yet here, but we can offer some options for you to choose from in this situation that we'll be happy to help you with. At the bottom, you'll notice our analog inputs on the MS-1. We've got a set of XLR inputs, again, Silver or Bronze Dragon interconnects, depending on the tonality that you're looking for. Then we've got 2 sets of RCA, regular RCA inputs, and then your phono connections. I would take a look at our 2 dedicated phono cables, either the Black Dragon or Silver Dragon. That comes with an earth ground connection, and we've got you covered there. Then we've got the AC power connection. As we talked about, I used it with the Black Dragon. Of course, this was before the new Bronze Dragon power cable came out. So again, depending on the coloration and what other cables you're using in this system, I'd recommend either the Black Dragon or the Bronze Dragon power cable. Pairing the right Dragon cables with your MS-1 isn't just about completing the connection. It's about optimizing the entire signal path. Whether it's our Silver Dragon digital cables for the last bit of resolution and detail, or Black Dragon power cables to provide clean, noise-free current, or our Silver Dragon USB and network cable to ensure perfect data transmission. Each cable is handcrafted in our workshop for exacting standards. I've personally heard the differences these cables make in my MS-1 setup, especially when using the fiber connection between the MS-1 and the SS-1 Pro. The blacker background improves separation between instruments, and more natural timbre are immediately noticeable, even to listeners who might be skeptical about cable differences. Remember, your system is only as strong as its weakest link. When you've invested in components of this caliber, make sure the connections between them are worthy of your music and your love. After spending these months with putting the MS-1 through its paces in various setups and listening scenarios, I found some pretty strong opinions about who the device is for and whether it justifies its price tag. I've used the MS-1 in both headphone and speaker setups over these months, and it's been one of the most enjoyable pieces of tech I've used to date. You'd have to spend significantly more money and more components to do everything the MS-1 can do. While not cheap, considering its capabilities, I believe it's a bargain. The MS-1 embodies Matrix Audio pursuit of excellence. Everything you hear, see, and touch is a result of continuous refinement and meticulous attention to detail. If you're looking for a digital component that can serve as the heart of your system for years to come, the MS-1 deserves serious consideration. Speaking of statement pieces, I briefly mentioned the Matrix Audio SS-1 Pro network switch that I've been using alongside the MS-1. If you're intrigued by how I connected these components via fiber optic to completely isolate the audio signal from the network noise, you'll definitely want to check out my upcoming review of the SS-1 Pro. This audio-grade network switch is the perfect companion to the MS-1, taking digital streaming to another level by eliminating the last frontier of noise contamination in your signal path. I've noticed a remarkable improvement in soundstage depth and micro detail when using this specialized switch versus a standard network setup. Think of it as the final piece of your puzzle for your digital audio chain.